Sup, dude? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Impractical Machinists podcast. My name is Patrick. You can find me on Instagram as @JobShopperTN.
And I'm Cameron at Machining is Cool. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating.
I'm Bradley with Marvel Machining. Also, if you're on YouTube, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to the Practical Machinist YouTube channel.
On this episode, we're celebrating 1 year of hosting the podcast. Stay tuned for an announcement where you can win some cool stuff from us. We're going to talk about what all has changed throughout the last year for us and what we're looking forward to in the next year. It's hard to believe that anybody's listened to us for a year, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Just don't seem right.
I don't even like listening to myself.
Pat, your positive affirmation voice.
Yeah.
Something like that.
People that watch.
Yeah, people that watch. I mean, stared at three ugly guys, kind of sus.
Brad's pretty cute.
Yeah, they like me on the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beard helps. A little salt and pepper going on.
You need to post a picture of no beard Brad right over that.
I don't even know if I have a picture of no beard.
Yeah, you do. I know you do.
Yeah, it'd be in black and white.
Sure. I know you got a Polaroid somewhere. You kept everything since you were 2.
Probably.
That's what you need to do, Brad. You need to do a series just going through your garage or wherever that you have all that shit.
All my stuff?
Yeah, just a nostalgia series. Going through all this
nostalgia.
Yeah.
On episode 3 of The Process.
A lot of people probably don't even know that. It's just, I've shared all that in the group chat.
Yeah, that's some group chat lore.
Yeah.
I've got everything from my childhood, from the 90s. Everything. Clothes, toys, phones, Walkman.
It's crazy.
I haven't thrown anything away. An original Light Bright.
I think the only thing I have from my childhood is my sister found like a few onesies of mine when I was a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's it.
Shit, I got a baby box. I think I got like that little cut of my umbilical cord.
Man.
I got everything.
Yeah, people used to keep that shit. They'd keep a lock of hair too from like your first.
Oh yeah, I got one of them too. Yep.
Yeah.
It was just one of them things when, as I grew up and I outgrew the things I was playing with, I guess, as a kid, I had a closet in my basement and I would just put it in a box and I'd stuff it in the closet. And then when I moved out when I was 20 and I bought my own house, my mom was like, "You can take your stuff with you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." And I looked at it, I'm like, well, I've had it this long, why throw it away? So I threw it in the basement of the house we moved into and I forgot about it. And then when we moved again in 2016, I was like, this is kind of cool. Like I still have all this stuff. Why throw it away now?
Yeah.
So now I just have like racks. I got part of my basement is just organized racks and bins of everything. I even got like Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo, 007.
That's cool. It's fun to go back and play that stuff every now and then.
It is. 007 is fun to play.
I liked NFL Blitz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I played, I pulled it out. I pulled the N64 out a few years ago. I played 007 with my kids. And they play like Call of Duty and stuff, and they thought they were all good. And like I just destroyed them in 007. They, like, you can't even see anything. It's pixelated. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's funny when you go back and look at it. You're like, damn. I remember when this came out, and I thought it was good.
Yeah,
so real.
Now you throw it on like a 50-inch screen, and it's just like,
and it's square, but on a flat screen.
Yep, it's pretty fun though.
Yeah, they've got those gaming consoles now. Well, it's not even a gaming console. It's basically just like a little mini computer that you plug in the TV. Oh, yeah. But it's got like every gaming console up until like the Xbox, PlayStation era.
Yeah, them are cool.
With like every game you could ever play, like Asteroids and I don't know, everything. All the arcade games. Mario, Super Mario.
I had an Atari, but I don't know what the hell happened to it. I remember it probably 10 years ago, and I can't find it now. I'm kind of pissed.
Atari was cool. I didn't play much of it because I'm not old, but
it is kind of amazing though to think, like I grew up with the N64, so I'm used to the cartridges. They were about that big, and now you've got these games out there where they're just tiny little things, and they hold way more data. And it's like
you don't have to buy a CD or anything anymore. You just download the game.
Yeah, a lot of times you just download it.
Speaking of modern advancements, you can get a printer now and not install a driver from a CD.
Just download it online. Yeah,
he's still not going to fucking work because it's a printer. I still don't understand that. That baffles me. Like I bought a brand new printer for our shipping department, and within like 2 weeks, it stopped working. The only thing we did was replace the ink.
Yeah.
Because they send you ink cartridges that are basically fucking empty because they're cheap. But yeah, replace the ink. I think it printed like twice after that, and then nothing. And like uninstalled the driver, reinstalled it. Like obviously unplugged it, plugged it back in.
Yep.
First thing you do. But
Like,
Did you
how-
blow like ink cartridges?
right, like a Nintendo.
let's be real. How is it that
Well,
they
ink
can make
bottles?
these things work? These 3D printers, and
That's
they
what
work
I've been seeing.
flawlessly.
Because I'm like literally 15 feet away. I've got a 3D printer that can change filament colors and print all sorts of crazy complex 3D geometry, and it's fast as shit. And your computer printer that we've been making for 40 years, 30 years, can't fucking work after a month.
And why can't I just print black if I'm out of yellow?
Right.
Mhm.
I know.
No.
Why is it if I'm
Shut
out
up.
of color, I can't just do black?
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Drives me nuts. And then a lot of times you got to buy a certain brand of color. You got to buy HP ink or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like going to a tattoo artist and being like, yeah, I just want black and gray. He's like, so I'm
No.
out of color ink. I don't need that. I just want black and gray. And they're like,
That's hilarious.
just can't do it, man. Sorry.
A lot of times though, after like 3 to 5 years, it's cheaper just to buy a new damn printer than the ink.
Right.
I've
Yeah.
replaced
Well,
so
shit,
many
after 3 to 5 years, you probably need a new damn printer because it quit working at some point.
more.
I will say, I mean, I like laser printers. I mean, the toner lasts a lot longer. It is more expensive, but I mean, they're still problematic though.
I want one of those old school printers that has the perforated shit you got to peel off the sides. What are they called?
I don't know, I remember them.
I don't remember the name. The paper comes on a spool.
Yep. We had them at
Wow.
one of the shops I worked at. CMM printed on one of them.
Really?
And it was loud. It was like, ding. You could hear like
Yeah.
you could hear the thing moving back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But guess what? Those things fucking worked, didn't they?
Uh-huh. Probably find one at Goodwill.
Right.
Anyway, since apparently we're feeling nostalgic, we'll segue into we've been doing this for a year. We did it for like a couple months before it actually got released because it took us 3 tries to get it right.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if people know that, but our first episode was actually our third attempt at our first episode.
Yeah. I forgot about
Basically. And honestly, it was my fault because I kept wanting to write a script for everything and make it perfect. But
And I think all of us needed a little bit of figuring out. And part of the problem was we kept trying to tell our backstory. So whenever we tried to give our backstory, like how we got into machining and our machining history and all that stuff, talking about ourselves is terrible.
I feel like, in a year of doing this, I feel like we've really made a lot of progress. I mean, our presentation's better. We're better with guests. I mean, the shout out to Ian, man, because he was a trooper as our first guest, and he really just walked into a mess.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to work the mics. Remember the mics we had at first? We couldn't figure out why they don't work, and when we figured it out, like 3 episodes in, we were shutting them off and on accident.
Yeah. That little like touch button that
Touch
it's
button,
not a button, it's just like a little touchpad that you don't even realize was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you touch it when you grab the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we've come a long way. Hopefully, you guys listening agree that we've stepped our game up a bit. And it's just going to keep on going. The more we do it, the more comfortable we'll be. We're kind of going to start out with like, what all we've been up to over the last year, what's changed, what's new. So why don't we start with? I was hoping one of you guys would volunteer, Brad.
Last year, I don't even know.
I don't even remember last year.
Try not to remember much.
Obviously, there's not been anything major. Like you haven't really gotten any new equipment
No.
or anything like that.
I've been
But-
doing some production jobs. No turning. We're staying away from turning still. Production's been kind of different. I mean, it's nice. It gets boring as hell though. Like, I mean, it's super cool keeping a machine running 24/7, 7 days a week. Coming out here swapping parts at 9 and it runs all night. And I mean, it's printing money, but sometimes I sit out here and I'm like, oh, this is fucking boring. Like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like, I got 6 hours, so I got to swap parts, and I don't have anything else to do.
Well, just be glad that you have a long run time. Imagine if it was like 100,000, 2-minute cycle time parts.
That would be a no quote.
I wouldn't do that.
You
Yeah.
know, and
I've been there.
I get jobs like that. What should take 4 hours takes me like 16 because I wander off. And then I get bitched at when I post it on Facebook or when I post a video and someone's like, you should be running that faster. Well, I'm going to walk away and it's going to take me 16 hours rather than 4 anyway. Why does it matter how fast it's moving?
Right. No, it's much different when you're an employee that has nothing else to do besides stand at the machine and run it.
Yep.
And whenever you're, either an owner or, somebody in some sort of leadership or managerial position where you're like, all right, I need to run this machine, but also I've got 9 other things I'm trying to do.
Yep.
If I try to run jobs like that, it ain't ever getting done.
Mhm.
What I've done before is I'll put a pause at the end of the program and have it just cycle. So then I'll figure out how long it takes me to swap the part. And if it's 15 seconds, I'll put like a 30-second pause. So then I have to stand there and do it. It's like, okay, I got to get this in. I got to get it out before I lose my finger.
Yeah. I like that.
And then, sometimes you're standing there on Instagram on your phone and you forget about it. It's like, oh, well, I guess we're going to run that one through again.
Guess we'll wait till the end of that.
That's
Oh,
a
wow.
full part skim.
Yeah. It's either going to work out awesome and it's going to like force you to stay there and then, run the job super quick, or it's going to end up on live leak.
Yep.
Anything else new in your corner, Brad? I mean,
Have you worked at a shop that does production work before, or has it always just been like low quantity job shop or mold stuff?
I worked at a production medical shop probably 15 years ago, but I worked in the tool room. So I was just doing fixtures and every now and then you'd get something apart that went through Swiss, turning, milling, and they somehow missed something or something was out of tolerance and I'd have to fixture it and fix it to work. And then if we slowed down, they'd want me to move over to the production. And I was like, I'm just going to go home. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Once in a great while, I'd go in on a Saturday and swap parts, but it was the same thing. It was, you need to get 15 parts done today, and I'd get like 8. Like, I'm bored.
I have a friend that used to work at a place that did all production, and it was mainly copper. And he was the same way. He was a manual machinist. So he was making jigs and fixtures and stuff like that. But like 80% of what he did was fixing what other people screwed up. He showed me a picture one time. He had like, I forget, it was like 5,000 of these little copper brackets that they were missing 2 countersinks. And he had to set a Bridgeport up and do, I guess it'd be 10,000 countersinks because, and I mean, it all pays the same, but oh man, he ain't there anymore.
Yeah.
He moved on to something a lot more fulfilling than that.
Yeah. That's one of those things where you get the person that forgot those countersinks and say, hey, come over here. You're going to do something.
Yeah, you fix your own fuck ups.
Fix these countersinks.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to forget the countersinks again. Because pain
Well, yeah, they went through so many people. I don't think that would even work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
it all depends.
it depends, you say.
It does. That's what I've heard.
Should we start the counter?
It depends. Counter.
Fine.
I think we should get sponsored by Depends. When you're doing those production jobs where it's that 1 minute cycle, you can just stand there and piss yourself.
All right. Well, Kim, what about you? What's new with you?
Well, one of my goals, I know at one point we talked about our goals for the year, I guess around the turn of the year. One of my goals was to get our ERP system fully up and running. I'd say we're like 90% there. We're using it every day. We're fully using it, creating POs for material and inputting customer POs as sales orders and creating jobs and setting up all the routing and all that stuff on there. It's been great. Really awesome. You can zip out of there too. Like it doesn't have shipping software built into it, but it guides you. It's like this job is ready to ship. You've got X amount of parts done. The job is for X amount. So you can see like, oh, we made 16 and I got 15 parts or a 15 part order. So we're ready to ship. So you can just grab, your parts and ship them. And then you can say you got one in stock, or well, it already knows you have one in stock if you don't ship that one extra that you have, that sort of thing. So that's some nice benefit there too. But ERP stuff that should happen. But no, it's been great because it also has scheduling on there. So if you build your routing out correctly, it'll guide each operation to whatever machine it can go on. Even you can even set it up like I've got anything that needs to run on a fourth axis, only 2 of our mills have a fourth axis. So our BDM 5700, which is basically a 40 by 20 size mill, and then our D&M 750L, which is 85 by 30. So big fourth axis. So you got little fourth axis, big fourth axis, and then like small mill is basically the way I separated it. It's like small mill and big mill. So obviously big mill is the 750, and then small mill is the 5700, the D&M 500, and the D&M 4500. They're all basically like 40-20 or like 30-15 machines. So if something's got small mill in the routing, it can go on any of those 3 machines. Same thing with lathes. So anyways, you build the routing correctly, and then you build the timing out, roughly what you think it's going to be for setup time and labor time and machine time. And then you also put in whatever outside processing needs done, whether it's welding, plating, heat treat, all those things, and put their lead times in. And so it'll basically have production due dates, and knows like, okay, if it's 2 weeks for plating, then and our ship date, because you can also give it lead times for ship dates too. So I can take our standard lead time for shipping. I give it 5 days to try to get us a little bit early. Never takes 5 days, but so our production due date is going to be 5 days before, our shipping due date is going to be 5 days before the actual due date. And then our production due dates can be, say, 2 weeks before if plating is going to take 2 weeks, or that's my lead time setup. So it basically funnels everything where it needs to be. So that way I don't have to even talk to the guys and say, hey, here's what you need to do. Unless it's, it's very specific things I just need to get pushed forward. They can hop on there. They know they're working on mills or they're working on lathes, whatever. So they hop on there and look at the mill stuff and say, all right, here's what's next. And they just do it. Setup sheets are on there. It's all ready to go. So that's been a game changer. Really the last 3 weeks is when we've kind of gotten pretty proficient with it, and it's been going pretty smooth, a lot easier for me. Because I was really keeping track of a lot of that stuff manually before. Plus, we had to communicate everything. So I didn't know if material was ordered or not, depending on the job. If Sam ordered the material or something went out to plating, we would just forget about it because it's just lost in my like homemade ERP that we had set up. So a lot less manual tracking. So that's been a game changer. That's probably been the best thing we've done this year. That's been pretty huge. So that goal is basically accomplished. The last like 10% is just kind of tweaking our processes and making sure things are working correctly, which typically the last 10% of a project is like the hardest 10%. But in this case, it's really just tying up loose ends and making sure everybody understands their roles and how they're supposed to do like very specific things.
Nice, man.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing I've done probably in the last year. Any other shop stuff? We got that 750L. So traded a 750 for a 750L. So went from 65 by 30 travels to 85 by 30 travels, or maybe 60 by 30 to 80, 60 by 30 to 85 by 30. But it had a 65-inch table on the old one. Anyways, so now we've got 85 by 30 by like 29 in Z, but you have I think like 32 a clearance or 34 clearance in Z or something like that. With 4
nice machine.
And high pressure coolant, which has been freaking awesome. So a lot of high feed milling, like high feed milling down in pockets. Turn that coolant up to 1,000 PSI and just let it rip, and it just blasts all those chips out of there. That's been sweet.
Nice.
Still haven't gotten mist collectors installed. I've been working on that for probably over a year now. I'm kind of the only one doing it because the guys are always so busy, actually making parts. So I just kind of squeeze it in where I can. So I've got mist collectors on 3 out of 6 machines. So, we're 50% there. What else we got? Got a little less awkward in front of a camera. So that's been good.
Right. That's always good.
Improve the podcast a little bit. Got to talk to a lot of people from like through the podcast as well. Not necessarily guests, which the guests have all been great, but just people, messaging me on Instagram and stuff like that, talking to random people, or they'll message me and be like, hey man, let's see, what did I get the other day? Oh, it was whenever I talked about turning on the optional feature on Fusion. So basically optional block skip, is what we call them on Fanic Control, where it puts a / after each line of code, or on each block. So I talked about whenever you have a part that has like a fit that needs dialed in, or maybe you're on the lathe and you're threading, right? And you got to dial in your threads. Make everything optional except for those things that you need to dial in. So when you run your first part and you have your tool offset out, you just run the whole thing. Then you turn on your optional block skip, and then it's just hit cycle start, and it just jumps right to whatever doesn't have the forward slash at the end of the block. So whatever you have is not as optional, and it'll just run your thread mill or threading cycle on the lathe or your end mill for a specific fit, that sort of thing. And then you just dial in whatever it is you got to dial in. You just keep hitting cycle start till you get to where you need to be, and then you turn optional block skip back off. That's an important step.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very important. And then you're ready to roll. So I just got a message about that a couple days ago. Some dude was like, "Man, I owe you beer for that one." That was a good tip. So I was like, "Hell yeah, awesome!" I like stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's been pretty cool.
That goes a long way. It feels good to be able to help people out.
Right. That's what I like. I like being able to help people. I don't care if people know who I am or recognize me or any of that shit. That doesn't matter at all. But being able to help people out is what I think is cool.
Mm-hmm. I just did a AMA on Instagram today, and man, I was amazed how many questions I got. And I try to give a lot of good answers as best I can. It's fulfilling to be able to help people.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've thought about doing the AMA.
Mm-hmm.
He'll ask me anything.
Yep.
I can't do it at work though. I'm just there could be nothing. There could be no machines running because there is no work, and I feel like I would still be slammed somehow.
Yeah,
all this random shit I got to do.
Oh yeah,
that's how I am too. I mean, this week I haven't even turned my machines on this week, but I got so much shit I'm doing.
Right. Yeah, and then there's admin stuff too. Like the ERP situation, or I don't know, just random emailing and that sort of thing. Keeping up with plating and heat treat, RFQs and POs, and I don't know. Just there's always stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm trying to keep up with all the stuff. So yeah, the AMA thing's cool though. Maybe I should do that on the weekend.
You can always do it start in the morning, and then when you get done for the day, just catch up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Take a picture of a machine, be like, "Yo, ask me anything."
Right. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've never done it. So do you just respond to is there a way just to respond to the question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can if you open up your story where you post the AMA, the question sticker, swipe up, and then you can see all the replies you got, and then you can either tap on them and either just message that person, or you can share the response. So then you can, type it out or take a video or whatever, and it'll be on your story.
Yep. So you basically get to that the same way you get to when you post a link.
Yep.
I mean, let's just hit the high point here. I mean, I changed my job.
Yep.
That was big, and
took you like 8 months to do it.
It did. I mean,
pressure.
It was something that took me a long time to get, I guess, ready for. And I mean, really, you guys and some of our other friends were the ones pushing me into it, and I'm glad you did, because it has worked out for the better. Ain't perfect, but no job is. But that's been huge. I know as of right now, I mean, we really need some work. I guess I just bring it with me. I don't know. I wherever I go, we get light on work. I'm cursed or something.
You scare the customers away.
Right. Or I'm working too fast or something. It's not that.
Definitely too fast. That's what it is.
Yeah. I am speed. But yeah, we could use some work right now, and that would help a lot. That would help everything a lot. But so that's one thing. I mean, basically in March, I started a whole new job for the first time in 10 years. Unfortunately, the 8 months or so that we were doing the podcast beforehand, at my previous job, I really wasn't doing much because they didn't have a lot of work, and I was kind of burned out, so I really wasn't seeking anything out either. So, but definitely moving here has helped me out some.
House.
I was going to get there. I mean, the house build is coming along very well. we basically started in like the end of July last year, so it's been almost a year. It's taken a lot of time. Tried to start out doing it myself, and I figured out pretty quick that ain't going to work. So I've had a guy working on it for several months now, and I feel like he's done a great job. It's just taking him some time because he's a small crew. But I think I'm going to be really happy with it. Right now, we're shooting to maybe be moving in like late August, early September. It ain't going to be finished, but
Being in time for winter, though.
that'll be huge. I will not spend another winter in the camper. I will not do it.
How many years have you lived in that camper?
2.5.
Yeah.
Dedication.
You got a washer and dryer in there?
No. Fortunately, our laundry. I actually had a washing machine out in a shed that I had for a while, but we actually
Was it pedal bike powered?
No. I just ran it off the temp pole that my campers run off of. But we've actually been taking a lot of our laundry just to my mom's house, do it there. She's got a washer and dryer, makes it a lot easier. So I let my wife handle it. It's not been fun. I really wouldn't recommend living in a camper to anybody unless you know that it's going to be like a 6-month ordeal, maybe.
Right. Are you going to sell the camper, or are you going to keep it there?
Oh, I'm selling it.
You're like for kids?
No, I don't have kids for one. But I mean, if we ever do get a camper, it ain't going to be
animal
this thing.
equipment.
Yeah.
You can put me in a chicken coop.
There you go.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to sell it and recoup some of that money and put that towards a car or tractor or something, machine.
Right. Yeah.
But,
I mean, still though, that's probably pretty shitty living in a camper for 2.5 years, but you own land and you're building a house and you don't have any debt.
Exactly. Well,
you're into camper vehicles.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I own the land, I own my vehicles. I did have to take a loan for the house build, but it's not terrible.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Right.
But I mean, you're reasonable,
Exactly. I mean,
you're not paying a $300,000 mortgage.
No.
So you're in a better position than a lot of people because of that.
Oh yeah.
And you've got internet coming. You're gonna have internet soon.
I do. Thank God.
Finally gonna have internet.
I don't know how you don't have internet.
It's gonna be 20 megabyte download guaranteed, 5 upload. You already know it.
Bear in mind, I mean, up until like 6 months ago, Starlink was our only option, and the podcast kind of pushed me towards it. That way I could record from home, but it's expensive. But now we've got Spectrum out there, and that's actually next week. Like, I think the day this episode is going to come out, I should have internet service at that point. So that actually kind of leads me to a question I was going to ask the audience. So it'll make it a little bit easier for us to get together and record when I have internet, because we can just hop on whenever. A lot of folks may not know this. I mean, I've been actually driving to work almost every time that we've recorded, or I've stayed after work to do it here. So I can't guarantee that anything's going to happen, but it might make it to where we could do weekly episodes.
Hey, you got to ask us that first, Pat.
I'm not really. I ain't worried about you guys. Hey, if the audience wants it, we got to oblige it, man. But no, it may not happen even if we get 100 comments saying, yeah, we want weekly episodes. But let us know if you want to listen to us. Yeah, a little bit extra every week. Maybe we can make it happen. I don't know what's wrong with you, but
I mean, yeah. No, I would definitely be down to do it. Scheduling is just the hard part.
Right, that's the hard part. And other than Brad's sports situation, I mean, hopefully we could just hop on and...
Yeah. Granted, if we would just hop on and start recording as soon as we hopped on, we'd probably get it done a lot faster.
Yeah, we wouldn't have as much...
know that when we do these, well, unless we have a guest, whenever we do these, we get on here, we end up just bullshitting for like an hour and a half before we even start because we get so sidetracked with all our own conversations.
Even if we have a guest, that usually happens.
Well, yeah.
If it's somebody we know.
Yeah.
We hopped on today at 6 and it's already 8.
Yeah.
And we're only 40 minutes into recording.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the stuff we go through for you guys, our
Yeah.
lovely audience. I can't think of anything else noteworthy I need to say. So, since we're at about the midpoint, should we talk about the giveaway? So, we're doing a giveaway to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of this podcast. Thank you for making this possible. Without our viewers and listeners, we wouldn't have made it this far. Brad, what are we giving away?
I'm going to give away some swag from us and Practical Machinists and this Practical Machinists dial test indicator clock.
Ooh. Move it down.
Can you see it? Move it down, move it down.
There you go.
Yep. That's sweet.
I'll put a battery in it. So
fresh battery too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll throw in a second one too.
L battery.
Throw in some swag too. Cam, what do they need to do to enter this contest?
So in order to enter, all you need to do is comment on this video on YouTube. You need to comment the keyword "I'm 1 year." I am 1 year in your comment. While you're at it, if you'd like to let us know some of the favorite things you've heard us talk about, that'd be great. And on our next episode, that's when we'll announce a winner, which I believe is July 15th. Pick a winner at random.
Thanks again to you guys that are listening or watching, because really and truly, this podcast would not be what it is without you guys. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, back to whatever in the world we were talking about.
Who knows? We got a little sidetracked there.
A little?
Yeah, we got a little off the machining topic, huh?
Why don't we talk about stuff that we've got kind of coming up? I guess I kind of already hit on that, but if one of you guys wants to talk about anything that you think of that you got coming or you're looking forward to in the next year.
Honestly, the next year is probably going to be pretty busy for me at work and at home. So work, I don't know. Seems like things are picking up a little bit. So it seems like we're starting to get busy again, which is nice. So we'll probably get to rocking and rolling, and we'll get to that point like that. It's like we get right on the verge of where we're like, damn, we can barely handle this amount of work. But then you don't want to hire another person, because you hire another person and then now it's not enough work for everybody, or maybe it's just enough for everybody to stay busy and then it dies off a little bit. Then now you got somebody with nothing to do. So
yeah,
I don't really want to do that. So we'll probably suffer through like usual. But yeah, I'm going to keep on, man, my backyard. Nobody has really seen my backyard, but it used to be all woods, and I've cleared it all. Not all of it. I've cleared majority of it, graded it all. Got a tractor, been pulling out stumps left and right and trying to grow grass. Man, I'm excited about that. I don't know if anybody else gets excited about having a nice yard, but I've got room right there. Got a trampoline for the kid back there now. It's great.
Nice.
Chickens now.
My yard is terrible. I hate yards.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know. I've got a zero turn now, which is the shit. A buddy of mine, so a buddy of mine I was in the Marine Corps with, we were talking. He's got a farm in South Carolina, and he's got a bunch of property, and basically uses a tractor with a bush hog to take care of everything, or just lets his horses out or something to take care of his grass. And I was on the phone with him one day, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I need to get a new lawnmower. This thing's giving me trouble. It's on its last leg." He's like, "Man, I'll sell you my mower." I was like, "All right, well, what do you got?" He's like, "Oh, I got a zero turn. It's like a 54-inch deck, like John Deere." He's like, "I barely used it. I'll sell it to you for like $1,000 bucks." I was like, "You fucking serious?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't care. Yeah, I'll hook you up." So I went down to his place and gave him $1,500 for it. I felt like I was taking advantage of him at $1,000. Even at $1,500, the thing had 15 hours on it when I bought it.
Damn.
Yeah. So now I got a smoking deal on a John Deere zero turn. Anyways, so I love cutting grass now, needless to say. But yeah, man, next year is gonna be busy for me, between just taking care of the shop, trying to keep up with things, trying to continuously improve things, and then just staying home and taking care of a kid. Me and my wife work opposite shifts, so because we don't have anybody to watch the kids. So I work Monday to Thursday, and then she works Friday to Sunday. So just me at home with the kid Friday to Sunday, trying to get stuff done, just dadding around. So that's really it for me for the next year.
Yeah.
Do you see any new machine purchases on the horizon, Cam?
No. Would love to get some sort of lathe to fill the gap between our Johnford, which has an 8-inch chuck, and then the 24-inch chuck Doosan Puma. but we're in a 40 by 60 shop with 6 machines in it, so
Yeah.
we're a little tight. I'm
You
not
want you want a SL20T Haas?
absolutely not even a little bit. But yeah, there's no way we'd be able to fit another machine. We could technically fit another machine in there, but then we would just be cramped and miserable all the time, and it would just impede the flow of things. And I mean, yeah, you may improve capability, which is cool.
And
Or you don't have any room to work, and you're just pissed off all the time because everything's so cramped.
that's what you're supposed to do, though. You gotta
Cram as much shit as you can in there.
yeah, cram everything you can, and then when you finally get to the point where you build a new building or you buy a new building, you buy one just big enough for what you got. That way, when you grow more, you're right back in the same spot.
Right. Yeah.
Be a yahoo.
Right. Be a yahoo. The be a yahoo thing's taken off. I like it.
You know, I meant to mention that earlier. Starting that has been a ton of fun. If you haven't seen it on Instagram, I'm putting up a video every Wednesday, and I'm calling it Be a Yahoo. And it's usually just something silly, like you can do it in machining, you can do it and it's fine, but it's kind of janky, or it's just something you just straight up shouldn't do, but people do all the time. So check it out. It's fun.
Yeah. Speaking of yahoo-ness,
Oh,
well, it's nothing directly shop related, but so Logan, the guy that works for us, one of the guys that works for us, he's got his own, little welding company on the side, and just kind of picks up random welding jobs as he can. And he'll use our welding shop for some of the stuff just because he doesn't have a lot of room at home to handle it all. So he went out. Somebody called him out to come take a look at their tractor. They've got a big John Deere with one of those brush hogs that's on a robotic arm or hydraulic arm, not robotic, but hydraulic arm. And it's got like a mount that it rests on for when you drive around, so you can, get all the weight off the hydraulics. And Farmer Bob had welded, I mean, an absolute shit show together in order to support this mount for this hydraulic arm. It was atrocious. He took like some 3/4 inch plate with some holes in it. So that on the axle, it's mounted to the axle. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it's mounted to the axle. Doesn't sound normal. And there's so there's some studs that go from the top of the axle to the bottom of the axle, and then there's some bolts that go into the bottom of the axle. And he just kind of like burned out holes in it so it would match the patterns that were there, and then just kind of sandwiched it in between everything. But it was like 3/4 inch plate with another. Basically, he made his own angle iron, and so it had another plate welded vertically to the side of it, and then it had 4x4 1/4 inch wall tubing, welded like triangulated, welded on top of that, like suspended out like 3 feet, and then suspended out, all mounted on this like 8-inch section, right, supporting this entire hydraulic arm and bush hog, just hanging out on this thing. So needless to say, it snapped off right where the outermost holes were from the axle. So I need to take some pictures of that and share it on Instagram or something, because it is hilarious how bad these welds are. I mean, I get it. You got to make shit work. You got to do what you got to do. But holy shit, that was bad. He cut off. So the 4x4 tubing that's on the bottom of this mount, he cut it off. And basically he's saving the triangulated part, which it's not triangular. It's one vertical piece with a brace, all 4x4 though. So he just like cut it clean off the bottom of that brace, and he's going to build everything new and then just weld that post back on top of it. There was like random just shit just welded inside of this thing for no reason. There was like some sort of just random block of steel that was welded down in there and like wasn't attached to anything, wasn't doing anything. It was just in there, just welded to it. So anyways, I hate your disdain for taking on farmer jobs.
I do not miss that.
Yeah.
At all.
I was like, dude, I am glad that is your problem, not mine.
But I know a shop up this way that you could send that to, and they'd charge him $20 and a moon pie.
Yeah, right. I told him he needs to get some 3/4 inch plate, laser cut and bent, and bolt it back up in there. and maybe add some bracing, and then but with a laser cut and bent like basically C channel, but much longer legs and much thicker than C channel, and maybe having that vertical support that way on both sides of it with the radius bend will support it a lot better. But yeah, man, I don't know. I've been meaning to say something to you about that though, because it reminded me of you.
Oh yeah, and of course it had to be a John Deere. It's always a John Deere. I will never ever get a John Deere tractor at this point. I'm traumatized by that shade of green.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, anyways, so yeah, next year, what do you got, Brad? What are you going to do for the next year besides coach, I guess?
Yeah.
You do anything with the business? Getting rid of your lathe?
Try to get rid of my lathe. Move my VF2 SS over to Tennessee. Hopefully by the end of the year, replace it with horizontal or something. We'll see. I don't know. I was going to build another building this year, but I'm kind of on the fence. Kind of like I've added the building. I'm on my home property. I've added this building. I put a pool in a few years ago, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I've exceeded the value of my house with what I've added to it. So continuing to add is just gonna exceed what my house is ever gonna be worth. So I don't know if I want to keep another building on here.
Yeah.
So trying to decide what to do there, but I'd like to have some more space.
Do you have to have more space?
I'd like
to add on.
I can't add on to my building because my biggest building can be 1,800 square feet, but I can build another 1,500 square foot building.
Mm-hmm.
But
you get these disconnected. Yeah, then you have a whole separate building.
Yep. I need more space for my stuff. Like I got a corner of my shop where I got just some shit that isn't shop related that I'd like to get out of here, and then like my attached garage is a 4.5 car garage, and I can't even park my truck in a garage. My wife can park hers. That's it. But it'd just be nice to have more space.
Can you do like one of those prefab sheds where they just drop it off?
I got 2 of them.
Oh,
I got one right next to the building, and then I had one dropped off to like pool house.
Maybe if you get rid of all your damn Walkmans and Ataris,
it's in the basement.
You'd have some more room.
I'm gonna get rid of my forklifts. I got 2 forklifts up for sale. They both lift like 14,000 pounds. I'm gonna downsize to something normal.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
That's a big forklift.
Then how are you gonna move your machines around at will?
I'm gonna put them and they're gonna stay. I'm gonna rearrange and just leave them.
Probably a good idea.
We'll
see. Then what if you don't like the layout?
I got skates.
Yeah, I guess
stack them up and just push them.
Who was it? Oh, it was Patted Old Boys. He was saying he put his machines on UHMW blocks.
Oh yeah.
Skidded them around.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
If you get a smooth floor anyway.
Yeah.
Skid it around on the concrete.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see how busy it gets. It's been a busy year so far. I'm gonna go back and forth, bringing somebody on, but it's like I don't really want to. I'm so damn busy as it is, and bring somebody on, take on more work, and then
like an employee.
Yeah, if they bail or they don't show up, then it's like I got to do that much more work.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if you want an employee.
Yeah, I don't know if I want one either.
Yeah,
I actually we've been going through it with our salon, and I got my wife downsized, and we got rid of all of employees. It's kind of nice.
Oh, is it just her now?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure that is nice.
I mean,
employees are like the hardest part of any business, it seems like. And I haven't ran a business myself, but I've dealt with employees. And I would much rather machine parts than deal with employees. I can tell you that.
I mean, my wife would come home and complain about something, and my response would be, fire them. Who cares? Just fucking get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I know, like, that would be me. Like, somebody, I'd be like, you know what? You just get out of here. You're done. See you later. Like, I don't got time for this shit.
Well, and I mean, part of what works so well for you, it seems like, is like your flow of things, how you program, how you set things up. I mean, if you're the only one doing it, that works great. But when you add another person in and they've got to understand what it is that you had planned for that job, if you program it, like that's a whole other element.
Yeah,
you're worrying about setup sheets or something. Maybe if it's like you program, we'll get you whatever software you want. You just get your own. We'll get you your own computer. You program shit. I'll program my shit.
Yeah,
if you're gonna make it, you program it.
That's what I would do. That's every shop I worked at. That's how I'm used to running is everybody program their own shit. I mean, I worked at places where a repeat job would come and it would come to me and not the guy that ran it last time, and I'd just reprogram it.
Right.
And we use different software too, so that was the
Yeah.
other issue. Like, I don't got time to
Seems
post.
like such a weird thing to do, bro.
It is.
Seems like a bad idea. It's like you've already got a program that's been proved out and everything worked and it's been inspected and everything's right.
Yeah.
But if you're just the employee, you're like, oh, well, fuck it.
But I mean, most of the time it wasn't anything that took like hours to program either. It was something I could blast out in 20 minutes. So
I mean, I guess that's different. It's probably a pretty simple part then.
yeah.
Yeah. So possibly an employee then.
Yeah, probably not going to happen.
Like 10% chance.
Yeah.
And it's
Maybe it's some like
probably less than that.
maybe if a bunch of random crazy work comes in out of nowhere and you just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
then.
if I had enough production where I could have somebody swapping parts and I have to worry about it, it'd be nice.
Question 2 is where the hell would you put another desk in there?
Oh man, we'd just share one. I'd get a double
Yeah,
desk.
right. You ain't sharing a desk with nobody.
They get a laptop. They get
It could be the night shift.
Yeah.
Have them come there at night when you're not working. Use your computer.
I guess that would be the thing. I mean, if you could get a lot of high volume work to where you don't have to necessarily worry about hiring another machinist necessarily.
Yeah.
But then you still get in that, okay, now I gotta tend to him. I gotta make sure he's doing right, setting things up the way I want him. It's hard. I'd love to talk to someone about, okay, when you made that jump from being a one-man shop to bringing on your first employee, what'd you do to make it work?
Ooh, that'd be a good guest to have on.
That would be. That seems like a pretty big jump.
I mean, even this job I've been running, like I've had to install like 4,000 inserts. We talked about this last time, but like when I'm installing that, I have to stop doing that to go run a machine, or I gotta prioritize if I have something to run in my vertical. Like I can't do both. So if I continue getting work like that, then it's. I mean, my wife helped me a little bit here and there. She installed some too. So
you know what you should have done? Do you have a trade school near you?
Yeah.
Should have gotten in there, approached some kids. Hey,
It's all
got
insert.
a summer job for you.
Wow.
It's in a machine shop.
Yeah.
It's machining adjacent.
Machining adjacent. Production support. Yeah. That would have been totally screwed.
But even that, like there was it was 8 hours before I had to swap parts. So it was like once during the day and then once at night. So it was kind of that's the nice thing about the pallet pools, man. You can just load them up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty nice.
Oh, for sure.
I'm jealous of that for sure. I mean, even on, I don't know. To me, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense to get a horizontal, even though we're high mix, low volume.
Yep.
A horizontal with a pallet pool specifically, not just, where you with like an A and B pallet. But
it's nice.
I mean, you can go the route of having multiple different setups on different pallets, So that's what you did, right? So you got one with a whole bunch of vices oriented vertically in line with each other. Maybe another one that's made just a whole plates, just random shit like that.
Yeah.
Have different setups on there.
It's nice.
Have a chuck on one. Yeah, we do work in chucks all the time on mill.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I want to replace my VF2 I want a horizontal with an A and a B to replace that. I mean, if I came across the pallet pool, it'd be cool. I'd get it, but I at least want one with an A and a B, because then one would have a 3-jaw chuck on it and the other would have vices, and I'd have essentially what my VF2 is doing, but I'd have the 2 different setups. I'd have a 4th axis rotary type system.
Right.
So
yeah, man. Yeah,
it's pretty sweet. I mean, we've experienced or experimented with that some here. I mean, our feeler horizontal, we finally got the tombstone machine for it. Probably gonna have to modify it, but and we kind of made it just super multi-purpose. Like it's a square tombstone. We got 2 vices on one side. We've got a 3-jaw chuck, or I should say a space for a 3-jaw chuck on the other, to where you can access the side or the end. We'll probably put like an angle plate set up on the 3rd side, so like a dowel and a tapped hole pattern, and then the 4th side we haven't really figured out yet. And then on the B pallet, we'll probably make it to where we can switch between a fixture for machining bend dies, because that's what they bought the machine for, and like just a just like a T-slot table if we can ever get some material to make one out of. That way, because everything we do is, quantity one for the most part.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily need a tombstone with like 16 vices on it or anything like that. But if we have two, I got 2 Kurtz on one side, and then the 3 jaw on the other for round stuff. We actually cut a hole through the tombstone because it's a weldament. So you can actually run a rod all the way through.
Say it right. That's right.
Yeah, weldament.
Weldament. That's right.
But yeah, it's definitely been cool. I haven't really messed with it much. Mark's mainly done it, but it's pretty cool to see that take shape.
Yeah.
Horizontals are nice. It's nice with parts with big pockets. Just the chips fall out. You don't know where
dude.
it's so nice.
Well, shit, look at the machine that we just got. We got 1,000 PSI working coolant pump just to get chips out of pockets. That's honestly the main reason we did that. Because we were so sick of dealing with that. We would blow through inserts or like just burn through inserts quickly, or we've actually like blown inserts out and then started milling with the high feed mill body and skipped the belt on the spindle before because of it. So we would have like program stops every, inch or inch and a half deep. We have to go over there and blow chips out and shit. What's been really nice is we ran some of those parts again and took those stops out of it and just let the thing run.
Yeah.
And are you talking high feed mill, plenty of runtime of those inserts? As long as your chips are getting blasted out of the way and they're never actually getting recut, you get tons of runtime. So like a big hog out, you just let the thing run.
Yeah.
So it's been worth the investment. However, if you were to do that sort of thing on a horizontal, you wouldn't need a $20,000, $28,000, 1,000 PSI system.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nice for drilling though. I know that. Those S7, those 4-inch thick S7 bend dies we were making, we were drilling all the way through with an inserted drill. And doing it with a normal, 300 PSI through spindle coolant probably would have been fine, most likely. Well, really the main reason I say probably is like it gets questionable because you're drilling pretty much to the length that drill's able to drill. So as you get to the bottom of that hole, those chips are going to start piling up at the top of the flute. And so that's what I was afraid of. But with 1,000 PSI, man, like those things are gone in a second. You don't even know where they go.
Yeah.
Things fly into space.
That's awesome, anyway, man.
But yeah, I think a horizontal with a pallet pull with multiple different setups, like even for you, Pat, same thing you were saying, like basically try to get as much versatility as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have as many setups, as many common setups that we do, even the uncommon stuff. If it's something that's maybe not a one-off thing, but like we come across it, a few times a year, if you can afford it, have it set up on a tombstone, just ready to go. So when that job does arise and you need that setup, you just boop, 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 press some buttons and you got your setup.
It's nice.
That's where it's at for me.
I can't remember the last time I pulled a vise off a machine or moved a vise.
Yeah.
Put on a 3-jaw chuck.
Yeah.
I haven't built it yet, but I got a tombstone I'm going to build. I got a 3-jaw that's going to face the spindle. And then I'm going to do one vertical too as well.
Yeah. Easy to 0 point too with a tombstone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you model everything correctly. That's what I would like to do. We do. It's pretty common for us to do op one in a vise with gripper jaws.
Yep.
Use the Mighty Bite Versa grip jaws, right? So you can hold round stuff, square stuff, triangle shape. It doesn't matter what the shape is. If it can fit on a vise, you can hold it. Even if you put the jaws on the outside of the vise. And I torque the crap out of those vices. As much weight as you can put on that handle, those hardened inserts, those hardened grippers will handle it. And so most of our jobs, we start out on those vices. So if I could have a tombstone set up and I could just pattern everything and I could proof out the first one and say, all right, cool, run the rest. Well, now that's more time freed up for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. But anyway, can't do a horizontal in our shop. We couldn't even physically get a horizontal to our shop with how heavy those things are.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about it on here before. It would be how we get machines to our shop. It would be a nightmare. I think the only way we could do it is we could get a heavy lift helicopter and airlift it. You get
rent like a Chinook.
Exactly. Get like a CH-53 and external load it and just drop it in the parking lot and then drive the forklifts up.
Oh, that'd be cool. You should do that. You could do a YouTube video on it.
That would be sick. That'd be
That
so
would be
cute.
cool. Be like
Dude, I mean,
extreme machine rigging.
that'd be tens of thousands of dollars in fuel run. Yeah, that wouldn't be cheap. Gas ain't cheap for those things, and I mean, I'm not sure how many pounds they hold, but I know an Osprey will hold, over like 10.5, I think it was, or 11.5, 11,500 pounds.
My horizontal.
I don't know how many gallons that is, but it was CH-53s hold more than that, so not to nerd out, but
That's insane.
a lot of damn fuel. Those things are an Osprey anyway is 36,000 pounds empty, so you add another 10, 11,000 pounds of fuel on top of that.
Mm.
Yeah, you're slinging around a lot of weight, but 53 is like twice that size almost. So I don't think we could afford a 53 to come up and airlift multiple pieces of a machine up to our shop, with a horizontal and pallet pull and all that. But anyway, completely irrelevant, off topic.
No, I want to see this happen now.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I'm
Absolutely.
Because I mean, most of the time they're sling points, At least I don't know if it's most of the time, but I've seen on a handful of machines.
Yeah,
we've got sling points and like giant like engine half thread eye bolts going in them and shit like that. So it's got to be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. If nothing else, you can lift that damn crate.
Yeah, you could certainly lift the crate. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been done, but man, I want to see it.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah. So anyway, back to machining related content.
Right.
I guess that's machining adjacent. We're talking about picking up machines with helicopters, so
yeah,
it's honestly kind of cooler than machining. So
I guess it's my
Pat, you gonna buy Brad's lathe this year?
Oh, I'm not buying a lathe. No.
You
What do you take me for?
You gonna buy his VF2? I'd take you for a Yahoo. Yahoo would buy a lathe that doesn't run. His runs, so you need to damage it first, Brad. You need to crack it and then sell it to Pat. He'd buy it.
We'll see. I mean, Brad and I haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but
he'll give it to you.
What's going to happen is I'm going to
give it to you
for a machine I want to buy, and I'm going to buy the machine. And I'm like, Pat, this is on the way. We'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to just send him work to run for free.
There you go. Pat, you just got to pay the rigging.
Yeah. Right.
I'm gonna haul it down there myself.
Pat, you need to quit trash talking all these farmers.
Right.
You need to get one of those guys over there with some pallet forks on his tractor and move this VF2 for you.
Yeah, that is true. I'd like to see the tractor that could lift a VF2.
Yeah, you get a big one, it could probably do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't want like a forklift though. That's for sure.
Your company, walk-in machining.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yahoo's only.
Oh man. No, we'll see.
Precision.
we'll see. I actually for quite a while. I mean, I've been joking around with maybe one day starting a shop, and I always wanted to call it Southern Pride Precision because it just sounded good to me. And there's an aspect to it like, okay, this guy is a good guy, Southern boy, takes pride in his work, whatever. It wasn't until I started meeting some of our group chat friends that are not from around here when I realized that doesn't really sound as good to certain people.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call it that.
Yeah. They probably, one, you bring up anything Southern and they think some, dumbass redneck.
Yeah, Yahoo. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, Yahoo.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I definitely don't want to do anything that would be a problem for my day job, but it won't be. I mean, I would make sure it isn't.
I think a good name for a machine shop would be basically in line with your homesteading page. Like Pine, because it's Pine Knot Homesteading, right?
Right.
So like Pine Knot Precision.
Ooh,
yeah, Pine Knot Precision.
Right. Well, that's
nothing about a pine knot, but
right. I mean, that's kind of what my wife and I want to kind of call our property. Like eventually we'll have a front gate that says, Pine Knot Homestead or Pine Knot Acres or something like that. There's a funny story behind that, but I ain't going to get into it this time. We got distracted enough.
You want to sidetrack even more?
But yeah, so I mean that may be a thing. Getting the house done will be a huge improvement. as far as like the job, it really just depends on.
It depends.
It depends.
Telling you, Depends sponsorship coming our way.
This episode of the Impractical Machinists podcast sponsored by It Depends.
Sponsored by pissing your own pants.
You had to make it weird, Cam.
Well, that's what you do in them.
I didn't use my sexy voice in the mic like you did.
True. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, forget a robot. You don't have to do like Possum did. Just wear a diaper. Then you don't have to ever leave the machine. Anyway,
stand there and run.
We already made that joke. I'm hoping that the things improve as far as like just workload and everything here. We've got quite a few customers that have not paid us, which is a big problem. Hopefully that's going to get worked out. Unfortunately, I mean, a lot of it's just the economy. Things are just fragile right now. The impression I get from the owner here is basically a lot of companies want to spend a lot of money, but they're scared to. I mean, we've quoted a lot of work, but we don't get it, and we don't get it meaning somebody else got it. It's nobody got it because they don't know if they can.
Out trying to see how much it's going to cost to do this thing.
Right. They
didn't realize I'm like, I don't quite want to spend that much money right now.
Exactly.
It is kind of a weird climate right now because it seems like everybody you talk to has a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few guys are like, yeah, machine shop's slow right now. Not a lot of work coming in. But then there's also quite a few guys who are like, yeah, we're balls to the wall right now. Like, can barely keep up. Right. They just start asking what industry those guys are in.
Well, the feeling I get is the people that are busy are kind of more in the like military, defense, aerospace aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the stuff that's not related to that, because that stuff's always going. I mean, this is America. So that stuff's always going.
Yeah.
But then outside of that, consumer, agriculture, that kind of stuff, not so much. So we'll see. I'm actually hoping Jay, our owner, just flew out to a place that does aerospace work to kind of make a deal with him as far as a quote that we just did, get some information. And they're, like you say, they're kind of an aerospace deal. So I'm hoping that'll work out into something good. I know, when he hired me, he told me that, one of their goals for this year was to get a live tooling lathe, which would be great.
Yeah, you're definitely the man for it.
What's that mean?
No. You're a lathe guy. The hint of morning.
I put on the face of being a millbilly, but yeah, I mean, I did start my career on lathes. I can't help it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I would. I worked with a subspindle live tool lathe at Galleons for a long time, and could definitely make a lot of things happen. But got to have the money, got to have the work. So we'll see. Honestly, after some recent events, some problems with the heat treat job, I think our next purchase will probably be a bigger heat treat oven.
Yeah.
I ain't going to get into that. Exactly. But, we might be trying to find like a 3-foot cube oven.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
do you know anybody else around there that does heat treat besides your last place you worked at?
Not locally. I mean, actually, the place that we just subbed some stuff out to and wasn't happy with is the closest to us. Really? I mean, I can try to send some stuff, but we got to make a deal with my previous employer because.
I figured there'd be something in Chattanooga.
You would think, but we haven't been able to find anything. I mean, looking online, calling around.
Yeah,
there is, Body Code. I don't know if they run down to you.
Haven't heard of them.
They're based in. Well, they've got places all over the world. I think they're based in Morristown, Tennessee, which is like 2.5 hours northeast of us. But they actually run up and down the interstate, and they'll pick up and deliver. So they'll pick stuff up like on Tuesday, and then they'll drop it back off, next Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. We've had some issues communicating with them. So, I mean, that's kind of been a problem, but
yeah, that's a frustrating thing too, because you could deal with a company like that where they do awesome work and you can get your shit there and they're going to knock it out of the park. But then just emailing them, it's like you email them and then it's just radio silence for 2 days.
Well, I mean,
And they'll email back with like a half answer to whatever it was you asked. And you're like, all right,
oh,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect example because I knew a body coat from my last job. We used them quite a bit for either bigger volume heat treat, like the bolts that I was working on before I left there. They made, I think, up until they quit running them for a little bit, they made like 4,000 of them things, and they had body coat heat treat them 1,000 at a time for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And it's easy, it's simple, and they did some other stuff for them too. And so, I mean, they already knew about them here. I didn't bring body coat to RBSA, but kind of push them in that direction. Then you try to get up with someone to talk to or, work some things out. And it's like, I'm like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
I don't know. I find it better to just get those places on the phone sometimes.
Yeah.
Get them on the phone and then they're pinned. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if we ever made it that far or not, but
yeah. And also once you talk to them on the phone, they figure out who you are. And they're like, okay, cool. This is a real person. I've talked to him before. I remember that guy. Let me email him back real quick.
Right. Yeah, that can help.
Might just think you're some yahoo trying to get some tractor bolts.
They would if I picked up the phone, but my friend Mark's from Ohio. He don't sound like a yahoo.
Yeah.
He talks funny. He talks like them northern people.
Yeah, one of those damn Yankees. No, you'll pick up the phone, or they'll know exactly who you are when you start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Use that affirmation voice.
Yeah. Positive affirmation voice.
Right. Yeah. Grandpa's mad and he needs you to listen. Well, I think that's probably a good spot to wrap up, huh, boys?
Yeah, I think we rambled enough.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Probably the rambliest episode we've done.
It is pretty late. I mean, it's 9:45 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Well, you got to drive home still too, Pat.
I do.
Yeah, and go to work the next day. You might as well just sleep in your office right there.
Well, I'm off tomorrow. So
that's right. Wait, no. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all take the day before 4th of July off?
Yeah, because, normally we don't work Fridays.
Yeah.
So our paid day off is Thursday.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, we're all working tomorrow, but we definitely ain't working Friday. So.
Yeah.
Probably do it. I don't know if they'll do a paid day Friday. Yeah, that's a paid holiday.
Oh.
I don't know.
I almost forgot.
I know he'll take care of it.
I almost forgot the most important thing. Cam, what's your tip for this episode?
Oh, yeah, my tip. So my tip is something that I screwed up this week that I shouldn't have screwed up. Should not have gotten missed. However, it did. So I'm going to say something because it might help somebody. So a lot of times we get drawings from our customer and no models. So on this specific job, I modeled the part off the print, and so it had a weird section view, and it was basically a round part with a slot going through the outer diameter of it, and then it had an NPT hole in the side of the part that was supposed to be 180 degrees across from that slot. Well, I screwed up. That section view messed me up, and I just didn't pay enough attention, and I actually had the NPT hole 90 degrees from that slot. Machined it, and I missed it. The guy machining it missed it, and we sent the parts out. I mean, the hole was in the correct location, along the axis of the part. Everything was right. The thread milling was correct. Everything gauged properly. So all of the features were correct. Just the location was 90 degrees off from where it's supposed to be. So anyways, my tip, if you model a part for a customer off of their drawing, verify everything on that model. And so that's something I should have done this time. And it's something I've done plenty of times before, which is I'll model it off the drawing. Then I'll go back, it's a PDF typically. And so I'll use a highlighter tool in the PDF. I'll verify the dimension on my model and I'll highlight it on the drawing. Verify the next dimension, highlight it on the drawing. It says, hole spacing, at 22.5 degrees, whatever. I'll verify that and actually measure that 22.5 degrees on the model, verify it or highlight it on the drawing. So that's my screw up / tip for the week. Don't do what I did.
I'll briefly kind of piggyback off that because at my last job, we would get models from customers and we still double checked them.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't make them, we still double checked them because company policy was essentially the print was the master.
Right.
It's always good to check with your customer because some customers look at the solid as the master, but they kind of have to tell you that.
Print is always a master.
Right.
Ideally, yes.
I think
I've seen
everywhere you go, it seems like the print is law. You follow the print.
right.
Yep.
That's
The issue comes when somebody goes and updates the model and they don't update the print.
exactly right. I've had some customers at my last job tell us that the model is what you need to refer to, and that does stink because a lot of solids you don't get all the information you need. But yeah, it's always a good idea to double check that stuff. I mean, not to throw my friend Mark under the bus, but I've even had to go back and check stuff that he's designed because we mainly design our own parts here to customer specs. And there's been a couple times where like he's changed the design, changed it in the solid and the assembly. He was in a hurry, having to do 15 things at once. And then I go to machine it and something don't add up, or we go to put it in and it doesn't fit. And it's like, because your first thought is like, what I screw up, making a part. You double checking the print, you're in a panic, like how God I screwed this part up. I'm a failure. But then you find out, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to change this diameter on the print or something. It's so easy to do.
It is. I've done the same thing, and especially if you're designing something like like designing fixturing, for example. Like I'm doing some fixturing right now for a customer. They're a shop that does production work and stuff, and so we're making some fixturing for them. And I mean, you're balls deep in this design, and it's so easy to miss, a little detail here, a little detail there. Like I was going back through and double checking over all my work before I sent everything to the customer, and I noticed that on is basically like a Delrin like soft jaw that fits the contours of a part, but it's like a really weird setup. And so I noticed that the tapped hole that I put in the block that supports that Delrin jaw was in a different location from the actual counterboard hole in the Delrin jaw, and just completely missed it and was going through and was like, oh shit, glad I didn't, machine it like that. But which is why you verify. But it's so easy, especially when there's a lot of details that you have to include and make sure are right, to just miss one little thing that can really ruin your day after you machine it. Because it's a lot easier to, click some shit on a computer than it is to machine it right or wrong the first time and then machine it again. It's something I wanted to bring up. So you were talking about, you guys designing stuff and then having a print. I know y'all using Fusion. Are you creating your own drawings from there for your own parts? Okay. Have you tried using like the automated dimensioning feature?
I haven't. Mark's tried to. He said he's not really had much good luck with it, but it's been a while since we've tried it.
Okay. I've had good luck with it. Yeah. I mean, don't expect it to get it 100% right. It's one of those things where like you click some buttons and you're 80% there. Most of the basic stuff is right. You might need to tweak some things and then add some things, but you're most of the way there. But whenever you create the drawing, before you actually dimension anything, get your views how you want them, that sort of thing. And then it's like I think it's got like a little lightning bolt or some shit. You'll find it. But anyway, it's like automated dimensioning. Yeah. And it will actually give you options for the actual layout of the dimensioning. So it'll have like, maybe it'll have like a datum, like say your part has a corner on it. And so that you'll have a 0 on the corner and everything will be dimensioned from that corner, or everything will be dimensioned from each other. So it gives you options. It'll have like 6 options for how the actual dimensioning layout can be, the format can be. So
have to try that.
I'd definitely recommend giving that a shot. And that'll, like I said, it'll at least get the majority of the work done, the bulk of the work done. And then you can tidy it up and add the last few things.
Nice.
So there you go, another tip.
Yeah, I got a twofer on that one.
Yeah, twofer.
All right. That's all for this episode of the Impractical Machinist podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the Practical Machinist YouTube channel so you never miss an episode.
Also, don't forget that 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to enter our giveaway. remember on YouTube, go in there and comment, I am 1 year. I'm 1 year. And we will announce it on the next episode. Thanks for watching.
If you have any follow-up questions, you can DM us on Instagram, the Practical Machinist Forum, or on the Discord in our Instagram bios. Check out our Instagrams as well, at JobShopperTN. Machining is cool, and Marvel Machining.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time. Keep those chips flying.